Welcome back to J Tendencies. I am your host, Jay Suave.
And I am your other host, J Reese.
I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody. It's been a great year. Hopefully, it was great for you, Jerry, spending time with your family. Hopefully, it was
Mhm.
great for everybody listening. And anything else you got to say for Happy New Year? Or
Now, guys, let's have a great year. 2024. This is our year. This is the year of
our
J
year, baby.
Tendencies. First episode of 2024 for J Tendencies. And we have a lot in store for you guys.
All right. It's been a hectic week in the sports world. We are going to tell you all about it. I want to start with the elephant in the room, and it feels like it's every week that this is the elephant in the room. Jaden, I want to talk about the Philadelphia
Okay, wait, wait,
Eagles.
wait, wait. Before we get into that depressing note, because I'm going to tear for that. Let me just go ahead. Let me say something exciting real quick. I don't know if this really gonna count in the sports world, but this is exciting news. The Rock has just made his return to the WWE, guys.
What?
Yeah, he made his return.
Really?
Yes, to recording this on Tuesday, he made his return yesterday. So, yep, The Rock is back on Monday nights. I think he just challenged Roman Reigns to a fight. So that should be exciting.
Bro's back in general. I mean, like he
Mhm.
just did the whole USFL XFL thing. I
Yep.
didn't read it. I didn't read too much into it. I talked about it whenever I was at the show on my at school,
hmm
and but that was just like whenever it was rumors. But like I don't know if he's actually like partnered with it with Danny
The
Garcia and
I
everything.
think he is. I think that's what that whole thing was that he had did the interview and whatnot, the announcement. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
The Rock's ready to take over. The Rock's ready to return to WWE. He got the USFL, XFL thing going on, and who
maybe it's
knows,
time
he
to
might
start
run for
watching.
president. Huh?
Maybe it's time to start watching again, bro.
I'm gonna start watching, bro, because it's gonna happen right when the season ends. So we'll still have football going on. And then let us know if you want us to talk about XFL games.
Bro,
We'll get our teams ready. We'll lock in with a team and we'll follow them through the chip.
bro, they got a Florida Panthers, bro. Not Florida Panthers. It's a Michigan Panthers. And I
Bro, are
hate
you
Michigan. I can't root for Michigan at
but
all.
the Panthers, Jay?
Bro, that don't
It
matter.
don't matter though. Hey, I'll see who I'm rolling with whenever the season starts up. But yeah, like you had said, Philadelphia lost to the worst team in the league. Well, never mind, my bad. Not the worst team in the league. Not the worst team in the league. We lost to a bottom five team in the league. And it's truly just an embarrassing loss, man. We were up 21-6 at halftime. Offense was rolling. Defense, they weren't. Their defense was getting chopped up. Don't let the 6 points fool you. Defense was getting cooked the whole game. They had like 100 something rushing yards in the first half, and they were really just a couple mental mistakes away from it being a 21-21 game or a 21-14 game. We would have been down because we did get the pick six in that first half from Sidney Brown. But I don't like how a lot of people are blaming Jalen Hurts for this loss. Jalen Hurts played an exceptional game. Going into the last drive, he threw a interception on the last play of the game on a Hail Mary. So that's not really his fault. It's a Hail Mary. But before that, he had only four interceptions. Four incompletions the whole
I
game.
would say.
Yeah, four incompletions the whole game to three touchdowns. And he ended the game with five incompletions with one interception. Like Jalen Hurts played a phenomenal game. And then when Philly scoring 31 points of offense, I think it was only -7. That's 24 points of offense, right? If you take away the pick six. But total we scored 31 points. And the defense can't get a stop. If you score 31 points and you don't win the game, that's a defense issue. Like, there's nothing more you could ask for the offense. The offense did their job, but we lost because our defense could not get a stop, could not stop the run game. They had over 200 rushing yards that game. Kyler Murray was playing good except for that pick six he threw, which was just miscommunication with him and his receiver. Second to last drive of the game, some of the worst play calling and clock management I've ever seen. Brian Johnson, like he needs to go after this. After I break it down, all right. Let me set up the stage. It's 5 minutes ago. We have the ball 28-28 in the opponent's territory because they went for an onside kick. They did not get it. And let me tell you what we have on our team, right? We have a 1,000-yard rusher. We have two 1,000-yard receivers, a quarterback who's almost at 4,000 yards passing, who's been efficient throwing the ball all game, has only four incompletions to his name. So first play of the drive, We get a I think it was a holding call. So play got called back. So we're in 1st and 20. So obviously in 1st and 20, what do you want to run in this situation? A quarterback sweep, right? Of course. Why not give it to your 1,000 yard rusher or one of your 1,000 yard receivers? Let's run a quarterback sweep. All right. And then
behind the best
second,
O line.
behind the best, like, all right, second and 16. Okay, we got 4 yards on the quarterback sweep. Brian Johnson said we wanted to trick the defense. So you know what we do when they are obviously in a they are seven people in the box ready for the run. We're gonna run the ball again. But who we're gonna run the ball to? Our 1,000 yard rusher? No, no, we're not gonna run to our 1,000 yard rusher. Let's go ahead and run another QB sweep on second and 16, and we lose 4 yards. So now we're in 3rd and 20. And then instead of throwing something down the field so we can get a better field goal or try to get in a scoring territory, try to get a first down. Because you know what we saw last week against the Giants, Jalen Hurts on a 3rd and 20 scrambled in the pocket and threw a dot 25 yards downfield for a first down. Let's not do that again, right? Let's throw a screen pass to our running back with Devontae Smith as the lead blocker. All right, not our 1,000 yard rusher running back, our second string running back behind Devontae Smith as a lead blocker who gets hurt that play and now has an ankle sprain. And then fourth down, we get an Eagles field goal, and then they go down, score with super easy. And all I gotta say is coaching needs to be addressed very soon because the coaches right now are not taking any accountability for what they're doing wrong. And that's really causing a lot of frustration in the locker room. And it's gonna be really the downfall of this team if it keeps going on going forward.
Yeah. I mean, Philly and Arizona usually always have close games, so like
Mhm.
I don't think we were kind of expecting this type of game exactly.
I
I
was
mean,
expecting a close game. Once it was 21-6 at half, I was not expecting it to be how it was at the end. Because if you're going into because all three most of the games that we've lost, aside from the Cowboys games, aside from the Cowboy game and the 49ers games, all the other games that we lost, we went into halftime with a lead. And we ended up losing those games to the Jets, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks on with Drew Lock at quarterback. So at that point, it's a real quarterback issue. And we were always winning in the fourth quarter and or had a chance to put the game away in the fourth quarter with like enough time to run the clock out. But we don't do that because coaching and play calling at that situation, we have no situational awareness.
but yeah, as I was saying, I didn't think it'd necessarily be like that. I didn't expect the Cardinals to score 35 points that game. But despite the Eagles defense kind of dismantling in the second half, Kyler and James Conner were going insane.
Mm-hmm.
And James Conner's having one of his best years since 2018 with the Steelers. I want to put this out there. He's around 40 less carries than he had last year, and he has what's it called? In 2018, he had 215 carries, 973 yards. And in the 2023 season right now, he has 101 carries, 181 carries and 890 yards. He's basically having his best season with the Cardinals, and they're a 4-win team.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it was just a good game offensively. But I mean, you had Jonathan Gannon come in and completely outcoach Nick Sirianni, one of his old coaches from last year. And y'all don't even miss Gannon in general, so it's like y'all. It's not like Eagles fans really liked him in Philly because y'all would always complain about the defense. But it was also like he comes in and just says, "All right, I'm a lock in," and basically takes the second half, takes that to heart, and wins. I mean, even though y'all didn't even have much control during the game, I'm pretty sure Arizona had the ball like 2/3 of that game.
Yeah, it was 40 minutes to 20 minutes of offense. Jalen Hurts still scored 3 touchdowns, had was playing really efficient. But all the teams that had beat them, all they had their running back ones had ran 16 had 16 carries that game, and they had 20 carries to, over 20 carries every time they beat the Cardinals. But our running back one did not have 16 carries, and then our we did not rush the ball over 20 times. I know it's hard to run over 20 times when you only have the ball for 20 minutes, but still, like, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. It was just a rough game by Philly. And I was sad this week too. I had my Panthers get dotted up by CJ Beathard. Even though CJ didn't have the best game, we still lost by 26 points. 26-0. You had Travis Etienne go crazy against us, but I even want to touch on the NFC South. We have three teams at 8-7 right now, and the Bucks, Falcons, and what's it called?
Saints.
Saints. Yeah. So in general, the Bucks basically have this division locked up with a win. And I only say that just because they play the Panthers next week.
Bro, a Bryce Young masterclass is incoming.
Bro, if that happens and we can kick the Bucks out, honestly, it's either the Bucks, like it's between those three, so I really don't care.
Yeah.
But like I hate all of them. But the Bucks mainly have the South locked up with a win next week. I mean, the Saints will need to beat the Falcons and pray that the Panthers beat the Bucks next week if they want a chance. But I'd much rather see Baker Mayfield in the playoffs besides Derek Carr. So
But can we just talk about how weird the 2023 season has been? Like we saw Julio just catch two touchdowns back to back against the Arizona Cardinals.
I felt
Um,
like a kid again.
Joe Flacco is dotting people up right now. Like, bro, what is happening right now?
Bro, I mean, Joe Flacco's just playing that like type of quarterback play that you really didn't want to see. Like Joe Flacco used to go against Ray Lewis
Mhm.
and Ed Reed every day in practice.
Yeah.
He do not care about these dogs today.
Hmm.
You feel me? I mean, you got Julio with the two tutties, bro. Literally, as I said, I felt like a kid again. It was just, it was a really fun time watching those games yesterday. I'm like, dang, like I really, I should have picked up Julio in my championship game.
One more NFL thing I have in my weekly recap. I don't really have anything else besides this, but I just want to say Baltimore is locked in, right? They just secured the number one seed. Lamar is the MVP lock now. Bro had five tuds against the Miami Dolphins, and they said he wasn't quarterbacky enough, whatever that means.
I don't even know who that radio host is, bro.
They said he is not quarterback enough. He said, "All right, hold my drink." Big Truz threw five tuds in a blowout win against the Dolphins, and yeah, I'm not really surprised that Baltimore won. I really expected them to win, and I also expected them to blow them out. But I was just still surprised. Like, dang, Lamar really took it personal, and I like that. I love to see it.
And what, they put 50 points on the board
I think
too?
it was 56. I think it was 56 at like
Sheesh.
16 or something.
That's insane. And that boy Isaiah likely went crazy. But yeah, I also have some stuff on my on some stuff on my recap for the NCAA. It was championship week this past week. I won't not championship week, but bowl week. And we had Oregon beat the brakes off of Liberty this week, 45-6, which ended Bo Nix's college career. He's finally done. He's been in college since Justin Herbert was there. But looking back on his career, 15,000 yards passing, 108 touchdowns, 1,600 rushing yards, and 38 touchdowns. And I'm thinking, like, Bo Nix really might be league ready whenever he goes to the league. And I feel like Oregon's kind of getting better with that, pushing QBs out, just because everyone's going to try and be like Herbert.
Hmm.
But I'm excited to see what he does in the league. And I hate to say just like old, but like he's mature enough
Nah,
to
bro,
go
just
into the
call him
league.
old. Just call him old, man. Say what it is.
He's mature enough to go into the league and do some damage. Then
Mhm.
you had Wisconsin. They got beat by LSU this week, 35-31. And sophomore Garrett, I always I always mess up his last name. But sophomore Garrett, I'm pretty sure it's Newsmere, who's been waiting a year or two, had 395 yards passing, three touchdowns. Looking forward to a great year for him next year. LSU might be, hell, they might have another Heisman next year, depending on what happens. But it was really the only two games I really had. We're gonna go ahead and get into our first topic, which is also NCAA. Who is going to win the national championship? We have Michigan versus Washington. You saw from Washington yesterday. You saw them kind of pick apart that Texas defense. He didn't have much pressure on Michael Penix at all. You had Romo Dunes going crazy on offense. You had Trace, the defensive end, going crazy, getting the Quinn Ewers a lot. I want to hear your opinions first, Jerry, on who you think is going to end up winning this game.
All right. Granted, I have not watched a lot of college ball this year, but from what I've seen, I really want Washington to win. Their offense is electric from what I seen yesterday. And Michael Penix Jr. was the runner up for a reason. A lot of people think he got snubbed. I understand why. Bro had 400 yards of offense from himself, passing and running like I think it was 460 total. And he had 4 tuds in the air. Like bro was going crazy. So I'm really excited to see what he does against that Michigan defense. But Jim Harbaugh is him. Like bro is a great coach. That Michigan defense is incredible. You know, we interviewed that Michigan defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia defensive coordinator position in the offseason, and we went with Sean Desai. But yeah,
That
like bro,
stare was crazy.
like that defense is crazy, bro. That defense is nice. I like what he does on the defense with hiding a bunch of different schemes and all that. You know, we saw it against Alabama. We thought Alabama was locked in. They were gonna win the game. Then you know, Michigan was just better down the stretch, I guess. You know, the coaches stepped up, the players stepped up, and by the way, let me talk about the Alabama. Is Were they watching some Brian Johnson highlights, bro? Like fourth and goal, game on the line, and the best play you can draw up is a quarterback draw. Like, what are we doing?
At least like power or something. Like
Like, like that was just such a bad play design in a crucial moment. And especially when you see like when they played Auburn, they were in a similar kind of situation. And you know what they did when they were down and needed a score right there? They threw it up to that their number one guy. What's his name?
Isaiah Bond.
Isaiah Bond, bro. I don't know if he was hurt or something on that drive. I don't think he was. I don't think he got hurt that game. But that was just crazy from them not to throw it to that one, you know, their number one receiver in that situation. You know what I'm saying? I understand what they want to do because Milroe is a great athlete, but you know, like you like that's not the play you should run in that situation. Like, why bad for a little rant? But that was just frustrating for me to watch because I've been watching stuff like that happen all year in Philadelphia. So I'm like, come on, guys, you should know better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Michigan will win, but I really hope that Michael Penix wins because you know, I think he did play good. I love to see a black quarterback succeed. So yeah.
I mean, I feel the same way. This past week, Michigan beating Alabama 27-20. JJ McCarthy honestly looked pretty good this week. He only had like 4 incompletions, 220 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
I heard someone say that's Kyle Shanahan's dream quarterback right there.
Literally Kyle Shanahan's dream quarterback. But even with that, I saw a fun fact today. Blake Corum, Michigan's running back. This Michigan team is 31-0 whenever he scores a rushing touchdown. And he ended up getting his rushing touchdown in overtime. And he literally told the team, he was like, if we go down there and score, if I score, we gonna win this game no matter what. And I'm like, this man is spitting.
Bro got that dog in him, man.
He ain't never lost a game where he scored in, which is actually kind of sad since I'm an Ohio State fan. But like, but hey, I'm rooting against Michigan.
I'm also
I
rooting against Michigan.
it's honestly sad because I feel like if Bama won, then I feel like Texas and Washington would have a better chance to win. But you saw the games yesterday. You saw Texas wasn't getting as much pressure on Michael Penix. Their defensive line and that secondary, I'll give respect to their defensive line, but Texas' secondary is not as good as Michigan's.
Mhm.
You got Michigan's nickel corner, Mike Sinristal, and he's kind of the guy that leads this defense. You got Will Johnson. I forget the name of there's a sophomore on Michigan's defensive line who is going crazy too. And he's just a sophomore. He's like 19, 20.
Mhm.
And he's gonna go crazy too. I'm just hoping that his offensive line is ready to start protecting this man Penix this week. Because Michigan's probably gonna come out and try to destroy this man like at all costs. And but Michael Penix looked electric in the Texas game. I want to give him his props.
Mhm.
And I just want to see how he does against one of the best defenses in the country. You saw Dylan Johnson, the running back. I've been watching him since high school, so it was sad to see him go down on like one of the last plays yesterday. But if he can't go, that is going to be a huge loss to the Washington Huskies next week. It's only because he's been through so much this year. He's been one of the best backs in the ACC. I mean, not ACC, Pac-12. And one of the reasons why I do want Washington to also win is because imagine this is the last year the Pac-12 is going to be intact. So like you need to go out with a bang. And I know some Oregon fans that want that to happen too. And I'm like, I could never. Like if the Big Ten was breaking up and Michigan was in the championship, I'd be like, screw it. I hope someone else wins. Or like Penn State or something. I'd be like, I'm
Mhm.
hoping somebody else wins. I mean, Michigan's coach, not Michigan's coach, but Washington's coach. That man is a dog. I would need him coaching me. That's like one of the best guys I've seen just on and off the field. I've seen him do his interviews, just always calm, cool, and collected. His team is 14-0 this year. You feel me?
Yeah.
So you got him, and honestly, you're going against one of the best coaches in the country in Harbaugh, but you're about to go blow for blow, hopefully, punch for punch. And
It should be a good game, man. That's all
I'm
I'm saying.
I'm hoping it is down in Houston.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's really all I gotta say on that matter. And we're going to go ahead, our next topic. There was the Saturday night game, the Cowboys and the Detroit Lions. The Lions solely missed out on a win solely because of the refs. And it was a whole controversy thing for the next couple of days.
Controversial would be an understatement of how that call was.
Literally, controversial is an understatement. And it's just been just a lot of hostility over the NFL fans and the refs and the Lions and all that. We haven't heard too much from Cowboys because they won at least, but we have heard a lot from the fans. What are you thinking about that, Jerry's?
Um, Man, it was a horrible decision in the moment. Refs have been making bad calls all game. This is the same referee crew that missed a crucial pass interference late in the game against Kansas City versus Green Bay that would have helped Kansas City win. But yeah, this is something that you need to not call because you see in the replay that number 68 did go in and check with the ref and let him know that he is eligible. You saw that on the replay. We saw Dan Campbell say that before the game, he went up to the referees, told them what they're gonna do in this moment, with what the play is and who's gonna be eligible. They broke it down and everything. And then it's really just the referee that made the wrong announcement. And he straight up stuck with the lie that he told. Like, yeah, number 70 told me that he was legible, but number 70 never really went up to him to tell him that he was legible.
Yeah.
So it was like I know I'm going to be a little bit biased against the Cowboys being an Eagles fan, but in this, like no bias whatsoever in this situation, that's a call that you can't make because that really has big implications on the playoffs as well. That's the difference between the Lions being the second seed right now or being the third seed that they are. And then if they were the second seed, much they'd have a much better chance at getting more home games going forward, in the playoffs. But now they won't get that chance because, if they win this next game, and let's say that the Cowboys do end up winning their game, they're going to be playing against Dallas in Dallas again, right? And you don't want to play Dallas at home because Dallas is, three and they're 13. I think they're 16 and 0 in their last home game, 16 home games. So
Yeah,
like
they're undefeated in the last 2 years. So
That's not that's not a team you want to play against at home. And for Dallas is even a bigger implication, right? That's going from the second seed, fifth seed to the second seed, right? That's from playing all your games at home in AT&T Stadium in Jerry's World, or you're playing all your games on the road as the fifth seed. So it's just it's a bad call in a bad situation. And then refs they like just in general this season they've missed calls or they call soft calls against certain players or like for certain players or other players. Like I've seen Patrick Mahomes barely get tapped and they call a roughing call. Jalen Hurts gets hit on every time he slides and they never call it up for Jalen Hurts. Micah Parsons has gone like I think it was 58 straight. That's way too much, but it's like since the third game of the season, they've Michael Parsons has not been called for offense holding on Michael Parsons. When Michael Parsons gets hold every play, and it's like that's just something that's crazy, right? I think refs do need to be held accountable just because players are being fined a lot less than what the refs are doing, right? Like I see offensive running backs getting fined for trucking players per like that's just a football move. I don't know what you're fining them for that. That's not like they're doing anything
yeah,
intentional. And then you see that the refs make these calls in Jurassic moments, and they're not really being held accountable to the same degree as these players. So I think that refs at least should be fined. They're saying that these refs shouldn't be able to might probably won't be able to ref in the playoffs this year, which we'll see because I don't think anything official has come out. I just heard it's a rumor so far. But let's see what Roger Goodell does. And this is an interesting situation in this moment. So what do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, just solely it was so bad just because the Lions missed out on a win just because of a ref. And I
Hmm.
know we've talked about how bad the refs have been before, but this one actually might be the cherry on top. You feel me?
Hmm.
Because this is literally a win in Taylor Decker's hands, and it gets called back because the refs think he didn't go up to him. And there's literally a video of Dan Skipper going up to him saying, "We are declaring eligible,"
And we see
which
Jared Goff say, "Hey, go tell the ref that you're eligible." And it's just
which is what he announced. And honestly, what it seems like is that the ref kind of mixed the two up, and Skipper claimed he never like said a word to Brad Allen, the ref. But the video literally appears of Taylor Decker going up to Allen while Dan Skipper jogged by. So in the film, if you can see that, then why? Like, if you would report that, why would you even think anything else as a ref?
hmm.
And it's just one of the. It's just terrible, bro. But I mean, I've seen the same thing. I don't think Brad Allen's crew is going to be working in the playoffs, or like they're going to be downgraded in the playoffs. But I mean, the only guy that probably should work is just the line judge or something like that. But I mean, uh, hopefully we can just. I want to see this matchup again because it'll be a good game. Hopefully, I feel like a lot of games in Jerry's world is just fun in general, and it's just because Dallas Cowboy fans bring the smoke.
Energy.
They bring
Hmm.
the smoke and the energy. It's honestly just one of the best things I've seen, especially with my own eyes. Because I remember going to the Raiders in
Oh yeah, for
the
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving game. Boy, what a game! And who was that guy who had like 10 penalties on him for
It was
PI?
Anthony Brown.
Bro, let Deshaun Jackson kill that man.
Man, you know what's even worse with that people keep bringing up too is that the refs didn't throw the flag for like 30 seconds after the play had happened. So it's like after they're celebrating for 30 seconds and the flag's out there. So that makes it look even worse than it already is, you know?
Yeah, bro. But I mean, it's just same crew you had in that Chiefs and Packers game. You had the PI. I don't know who the alleged PI was on, or like what
I
was
think
supposed to.
I, I know
Was
it
it
was
Mitchell Dougie?
I think it was Marcus Valdes-Scantling on the deep ball. And
Yeah,
then
I'm forgetting who the DB
yeah, I don't
was,
remember the DB either.
but there was a clear PI on that.
Hmm.
It's just like as refs, you got you got the best players in the world. You got people who literally make money to play this game, and you are playing with their money. Like there are incentives they got to get too. Watch out for these incentives next week. We might
Hmm.
see some people go dummy. We might see Tyreek Hill, Odell, and all that. But I mean, just the refs just need to be held more accountable. I don't know how we're gonna do it, and I don't know how the league is gonna do it. I'm about to send an email to Roger Goodell. Be like,
I
send me out there,
I will be replacing Roger Goodell as commissioner.
bro. I wonder how you become commissioner. Maybe you got to have a ton of money.
Man, I do a better job than both Roger Goodell and Adam Silver in both sports. Let
Be
me do
for
both of them at the same time. I'm combining the sports.
bro. It's
Footsketball.
bro. It's gonna be working 28 hours a day. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into our games of the week. There's been some as we get into the last week of the NFL season. There's not as many games as we'd expect to be so good. There's already some teams that already clinched playoffs for them, so like the implications aren't too crazy for Week 18. But I'm gonna go ahead and start with you. What are your games of the week, Jaden?
First game I got is the Dallas Washington game because this does have implications because it's really for the second seed. Because if the Eagles are able to beat the Giants and Dallas loses at Washington, then Philly will be back in that. I think they'll be in the second seed again. I believe so. And then Dallas will be back at the fifth seed. But I don't see Dallas losing this, even though it's in Washington, unless they choose to rest their starters. But I think they're going to be playing for that second seed. I also don't know who the starting quarterback for Washington is going to be. I don't know if Jacoby Brissett's feeling better or they're still going to have Sam Howell out there. So I think it's more possible that Washington will win if they have Jacoby Brissett in as starting quarterback over Sam Howell, but we'll just see. And then if Dallas looks like they're probably going to win, as Philadelphia, I'd just rest my starters going to the Giants. Not risk any injury going into MetLife, because you know how MetLife is. But my second game, I have Houston at Indianapolis. This is a really good game. I think this does have big implications for the playoffs because both these teams are still in the hunt, and this really they both need a win here, and it's going to be exciting to see who wins. I think Houston might take the cake, but you never know because Stane Steichen has them boys rolling like we said all season. And
Yeah.
last game I have is Buffalo and Miami. And whoever wins this game wins the division. So this is a really big game for both of them. It's going to be at Miami, but I do see Buffalo winning again because Buffalo, like I said before, they've just been hot. Miami just lost big to the Baltimore Ravens. They already lost big to the Buffalo Bills earlier this year. Probably won't be another blowout. I'll say that. I do see Buffalo coming out with a win here and then solidifying their playoff spot.
Yeah, I mean those are some good games. I also have the Bills and the Dolphins. I wasn't too impressed on how the Bills looked against New England this past week. I know that New England defense is good. We had Josh Allen turning the ball over once again. You had, I mean, the Dolphins, you got blown out by 40. So it's like, I get whoever wins this wins the division. I know we had a couple comments saying that we'll see who's the better team in week 18. But I mean, I'm honestly excited for the game just because it has implications. I mean, in my second game, one of these teams is already eliminated from the playoffs, but have looked good over the last 5 games, and it is the Chicago Bears versus the Green Bay Packers. I feel like both of these teams have looked pretty good. Chicago's won 4 out of their last 5. Their offense has looked good. Last game, you saw DJ Moore with 13 receptions, 150 yards, and a touchdown. The Packers just came off a good game, beating the Vikings by 30. They're trying to keep that 7th seed win. I'm pretty sure Chicago would at least want to kick them out that 7th seed or try to at least just win the game so they end their season off a good note since they're keeping Matt Eberflus. I don't know why, but I mean
They don't want to win games, Jalen, obviously.
they don't at all. And then my third one, I mean I had the same as you, Colts versus Texans. And with the Jacksonville loss, that's who's going to win the division because I mean Jacksonville plays the Titans, so there's a realistic chance. There's a real chance that Jacksonville could lose this week, and whoever wins this game will make the playoffs. And I'm honestly hoping it's the Colts
I
because,
hope it's I hope it's the Texans.
bro, I'm just gonna hear so much talk from everyone saying Bryce, 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 CJ, 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 and I'm gonna just be like, yo, I don't care. But I mean, it's gonna be a good game. I'm still proud of CJ. Honestly, I might as well root for CJ because he's Ohio State alum. So actually, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna root for my boy CJ. But with that, I mean, those are really the only games I've been thinking about at all this week. There's really no other good games because it's either gonna be blowouts this week, people are resting their starters, or just some really bad games. Hence Jacksonville and Tennessee. But we're gonna go ahead and get into our last topic of the day, our top 5 teams, and I'm gonna go ahead and start us off with this. I'm gonna go from my 5 to the 1. Number 5, I have the Detroit Lions. I feel like they came out, played a really solid game against the Cowboys. It really didn't matter at the end, but it is what it is. I'm at number 4. You can call me crazy. I still have the Dallas Cowboys. They're still gonna be in my top 5. There's just no way you can't call this team a top 5 team. And you had CD literally set 2 franchise records in one game last week.
And
So
he got a career high in receiving yards too.
exactly. And if you were just to watch that game and not put the Cowboys in your top 5, you're crazy. And I'm at number 3. I have the Cleveland Browns. And the way that they've been playing, the way Joe Flacco has been leading this team, they're 11-5 right now. They already clinched their playoff spot. This is a team I'm not trying to see in the playoffs, especially if I'm in the AFC. And even with this team being in the AFC, you play the Ravens twice a year. So you're already going to play them hard. So it's like, even as the Ravens, you're like, ooh, sheesh. But I mean, it'll be hard fought matches during these games. I'm hoping that Joe Flacco brings one out. Maybe not against Lamar. because the streets need a Lamar ring this year. But I mean, the Browns are really getting up there. And number two, I also have the 49ers. It wasn't the prettiest game this week against Washington. Brock Purdy did have a couple of mean dots going out the pocket. I mean, CMC got hurt, which really kind of screwed my fantasy, but it's okay. Um, he had Elijah Mitchell going to score a couple touchdowns. Brandon Ayuk went crazy. Just honestly, back to the usual 49ers, just, beating people by 10 plus every week. And then at number one, I still have the Baltimore Ravens, won by 40 this week. Just one of the best team in the league, juggernaut level team. So
Yeah, that's a really good list, man. You said anybody who doesn't have Dallas in their top five is crazy. I'm crazy, I guess, because I
you're
don't have them in my
crazy.
top five, man. Number five might be a little controversial. I have the Los Angeles Rams as my number
Ooh.
five team because that's a team I don't want to see in the playoffs right now. Like they've been looking so good lately. It was a close win they had last week again, but they still ended up winning. That's all that matters. That's all that's important.
That was
And
almost a scary game because they never trailed that game either, and they only won by one.
So, if I'm Los Angeles, I know what we have. I like our young running back. I like our new young receiver, Puka Nacua. Matt Stafford's playing great football. Cooper Kupp, he's not having that great of a season, but that's still Cooper Kupp out there. He's still a dangerous weapon to have a dangerous guy to guard game plan against. And then they still have one of the best defensive players in the league on the other side of the ball in Aaron Donald. So I think that team's gonna be really scary when the playoffs start. And then I'm glad, they're a wild card team, and if Philadelphia gets the fifth seed, we don't have to play them. Number four, I have the Cleveland Browns, have them on my list. Like you said, Joe Flacco has them boys moving, man. Mari Cooper's playing great football. David Njoku's playing the best he's ever played. Um, Shout out Elijah Moore. Unfortunate that he got hurt, and had that really bad concussion and had that really bad head injury. But we're praying for you. But that team's really good. Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Their cornerbacks secondary is looking really well. Like that's just a really good built team. This is a team that was made to build championships. But the quarterback play has been on and off ever since. Like Baker Mayfield's been there. So right now they have a quarterback that's got them moving. So hopefully they can get moving long enough to get a chance at the bowl. Hopefully not over Lamar, But if any team was to win the chip over the Ravens, I wouldn't mind a Browns Super Bowl win. It would not hurt me whatsoever. Number three, I have the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, I still think, even though it was a close win they had against Green Bay, I mean, not Green Bay, against New England, they lost earlier closely to New England. It's just Bill Belichick knows how to stop Josh Allen. We see this every year. So I'm not really that surprised. But I still think Buffalo is one of the better teams in the league. And ever since, like we said earlier, they fired their offense coordinator earlier throughout the season. Josh Allen's been playing better football, and this team has been motivated. Um, Stephon Diggs has been really quiet lately. On the field, we haven't really seen much from Stephon Diggs. But think about that, Stephon Diggs has been quiet. So when the time playoffs comes around, who's going to eat in the playoffs? Who's going to eat in the playoffs?
Big Steph.
Stephon freaking Diggs. Like Stephon Diggs is one of the best receivers in the league, and he won't stay quiet for too long. Number two, I have San Francisco. They did get a win against Washington. Wasn't it was a good win, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna take anything against hold anything against them for that. But CMC is out this week, which is probably good. They're probably gonna rest most of the starters anyways, just because, they clinched the first seed, they don't really have nothing to play for no more. So it's better if they get that 2 weeks rest starting the backups. But that's a good team. Brandon Ayuk, really good receiver. Deebo Samuel, a really great athlete. Trent Williams, I don't think he's hurt right now. I think he might be a little banged up. But it's a playoff. It's playoffs about to start. Everybody's a little banged up. So, they'll be straight about to playoff start. Number one, I got Baltimore Ravens. Like I said, they came to play. They're locked in. Got secure the number one seed, so they probably won't play any starters this week. Maybe Odell will play. But they're not gonna start any starters. Lamar playing at an MVP level again. This is the best receiver group that Lamar has had his entire, career in the NFL as a Baltimore Raven.
Mhm.
So if there's any time for him to win a Super Bowl ring and get that Super Bowl MVP, it'd be this year. And I'd be surprised if he didn't, because they're my favorites. They've been my favorites ever since half the season when we lost to the Cowboys. So I'm rolling with the Ravens. Ravens flop. But yeah, that's my team.
But
That's my
yeah,
top five teams.
I wanna touch on the Rams real quick. That's a sleeper pick, and I know we've been talking about him for
Mhm.
a minute now. And I want to talk about one of the defensive tackles they have, Kobe Turner. He's a rookie, and this man has better stats than Jalen Carter, like all across the board. 29 solo tackles, 28 assists, 9 sacks in 16 games played. Jalen Carter, 18 solo tackles, 12 assists, 6 sacks, 1 fumble recovery. Right
He
now,
has two forced fumbles and a touchdown. You know what I'm saying?
true, but Kobe Turner has 0 odds for Defensive Rookie of the Year, while Jalen Carter has all of it. So honestly, I don't know if it's like a
It's a name
name
thing.
thing.
It's a name thing.
It's definitely a name thing because
But
I
Jalen, there's no discredit to Jalen Carter. Jalen
yeah,
Carter
no
has been
discredit at
playing
all.
great football. It's just,
But you just look at it and you're like, dang, he got better stats and 0 odds to win. But I mean,
mhm,
I feel like whenever you're playing next to Aaron Donald, you don't get blocked as much too. So Jalen Carter's stats might look a little bit better just because he is honestly the drop off between defensive tackles on your team. Y'all got so
mhm.
much depth on the D line, so I'm not even gonna trip on that. But that's all I have. That was a good team to put in your five. That's about all we have for this episode, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in twice a week, once a week, whenever you can tune in. And we hope y'all had a great new year. Major, he's got some stuff on the way.
Mhm.
And you got anything you got to say?
Now, guys, just enjoy it. If you're on break right now, enjoy your break. We're going back to school in a couple weeks. Get back to grinding. Have a great new year. Like I said earlier this episode. And get ready, guys. We got playoffs coming. Got the bowl coming. Excuse me, a lot more NBA's coming. This is when NBA starts to get more interesting as we get, excuse me, towards the All-Star break. And then playoffs gonna come after that soon. Got the XFL, all that stuff. So we got a lot more sports coming soon. So just stay tuned, guys.
Yeah. All right, yo. I'll see y'all next week.
All right, see you guys.